she could really see. So when she said that, you know, Josh told me, she's Gwyneth's trying to get Timmy to microneedle.
Haunting melody, like a butterfly is telling me, almost like serendipity, a calm serenity, stone gray. Bekeren melodi als een vlinder die me iets vertelt, bijna als een toevallige ontdekking, een kalme sereniteit. Steengrijze symfonie, eeuwige open bedding in a seaweed peridot, pink green tinge on the tree, granite tonic hot and like mushrooms in a fallen love and pop. Heart felt the same hand, a magic man, wilderness metallic sand, salt and tin can, crosses on the side, peer fear for the weird, sitan peridot, rosa grüner schimmer am Bau, Grand Tonicum heiß und verrottet wie Pilze in einem umgestürzten Baumstamm und Teich. Statue des starken Herzschloss hat derselben Hand, ein Zauberer mit metallischem Sand. Salz und Blechdosenkreuze am Seitensteg verlangen, Angst vor dem Seltsinn. Omnity, like a butterfly is telling me, almost like serendipity. A calm serenity, serendipity. Calm serenity, serendipity. Seaweed buried with pink green tinge on the tree, granite tonic hot and like mushrooms in a fallen log. Hearts of the same hand, a magic man, wilderness metallic sand, salt and tin can, and crosses on the side, peer fear for the weird, ghostly activity light from the prairie, a practical horror film for the world goth pop.
And wait, I will Venmo you that $200 that I promised you.
Don't let the size fool you, it's still mighty.
Oh, we know. It's official game. Best out of 3 wins. Here we go. It counts. 1 for Justin.
Your son, my son? Yeah, well,
Ooh, that was a nice set.
A vision of a lost light on the dark house in the fog. Electric shock of a lost light on the dark house in the fog.
she's the broad.
A vision of a lost light on the dark house in the fog. Electric shock of a lost light on the dark house in the fog. A calm serenity.
For centuries, the castle stood as humanity's defiance against the wilderness. Stone fortresses hewn from earth, battlements carved from cliff faces, gardens reduced to geometric precision. Yet somewhere in the twilight of the medieval age, a quiet rebellion took root. The Verdant movement emerged not as a rejection of civilization, but as a profound acknowledgement that true power lay not in domination, but in coexistence. What began as whispered philosophy in the great halls of Castle Moon transformed into a living aesthetic. One where fern fronds draped from tower windows, where moss claimed the courtyards as sacred ground, and where the boundary between fortress and forest dissolved into something entirely new. This essay explores how verdancy became not merely decoration, but a fundamental reimagining of what it meant to dwell within stone walls. Part 1. The Architecture of Control. The traditional castle represented absolute dominion. Every angle was calculated for sightlines. Every wall was stripped of growth. Gardens were ordered in rigid patterns, straight paths, clipped hedges, fountains at mathematical centers. The moat separated civilization from wilderness with clinical precision. Nature was the enemy to be fortified against, controlled, or eliminated entirely. This aesthetic reflected the politics of its era. Dominance through clarity, safety through surveillance, order through force. But by the late Renaissance, cracks appeared in this philosophy. Philosophers and architects alike began questioning whether a fortress that fought against its environment was truly sustainable. Could not a castle that worked with nature prove even more formidable? Castle Moon's visionary architects were among the first to propose a radical answer. What if we stopped fighting the forest and instead became part of it? Castle Moon Magazine X Verdant. Part 2. The Verdant Doctrine. Verdancy was never merely about allowing plants to grow. Rather, it was a philosophy of intentional symbiosis. The movement's core principles were deceptively simple. Honor the existing ecosystem, integrate human architecture into living systems, and recognize that strength comes not from rigidity but from adaptation. Castle Moon implemented these principles with surgical precision. Ivy was cultivated along north-facing walls, providing insulation and camouflage. Moss gardens replaced the sterile courtyards, absorbing sound and creating acoustic privacy. The moat was transformed into a living wetland, filtering water while providing habitat. Even the castle's defense strategy evolved. Enemies approaching through dense forest could be tracked with unprecedented accuracy, while the verdant landscape offered concealment and advantage to those who knew its patterns. The aesthetic transformation was equally profound. Stone towers became green cathedrals. Battlements transformed into hanging gardens. The castle ceased to be a monument against nature and became an extension of it.
For all you guys, I'm like, great. You're going to also have to teach me how to work this.
Emma Stone mentioned that she listens to the soundtrack all the time with her daughter. One of many celebrity fans. Is there any celeb fan in particular who surprised you or maybe just delighted you to know that they loved the movie?
I was delighted by Andy Samberg loving the movie.
That was a fun one.
And I've also been shooting Presumed Innocent, and everyone on set knows about the movie and has been asking about the movie for their kids. And that's just been a very surreal experience because there's a lot of incredible actors on that one.
What you said about wanting more Asian Americans to be the main character in their stories. Amen to that. Tell me a little bit more about that, and also let's manifest. What type of main character would you love to play in a future story?
I mean, anything with a good story, right? I want to see women being badass, strong, and beautiful, funny, all of it. I think I'm just happy to be here. I feel like Rumi's such a dream role, and hopefully she's inspiring a lot of young girls.
I want to talk a little bit about your inspiration for Bobby. You played the adoring manager of the Huntrix Girls, of course. Who did you base that type off of? Is this the managers that you've known and loved, or have the managers that you've experienced just been the worst?
You know, I basically played it like a girl dad. Just so supportive, just father of two twin girls, and to me, just playing Bobby as like treated Huntrix as his kids. And just this unconditional love and support. and just probably in many ways the most accurate character I've ever played. So it's kind of ironic it would be in this animated juggernaut that is K-pop Demon Hunters. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How awesome would it be to see your characters finally meet?
I would love to see that, and I would love to see Willa and Perfidia get Deandra. Like, I would love to see the three of us together, honestly.
Absolutely, I'm signing that
Exactly,
petition.
exactly.
We're claiming that right now. We're putting it out into the universe.
Of course, I'd love to host.
I love it.
Thrilled about presenting tonight, especially because the host is my comedy hero, Conan O'Brien. He's the reason I started doing comedy, so thrilled to be able to do a show with him, you know.
I love to hear that, and I can tell you're like, yes, I would host. You skip question 1 to go to heck yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who's listening. I would host.
I'm 42. I've got no business being in a Taylor Swift music video, so it was incredibly exciting. I had done one with Hosier a couple of years before that I was also incredibly proud of. And then the other music video I did was like Irish with a great Irish band called Swear. So I've done 3 music videos. I'm really proud of all of them. But there was something special about doing a dance number with Taylor. That was not on my bucket list. I didn't realize that was on my bucket list until it happened.
Tight and tried to keep modest, returned. Gold bloom in a royal room, witch broom, potion spoon, metamorphosis. Horses aware, nightmare, all is fair in darker layers. Land of peace, wisdom is bleak, not for the weak. Toxic roses, turn up noses, dry petal drops of color and morning. Tenderness sheer, rhythm and penance, vampires guess. Who knows the guess? Living dead, living dead, living dead, living dead.
Became the most prestigious garments incorporated preserved botanicals, fern fronds woven into tapestries, moss dyes creating colors previously impossible, living plant arrangements worn as crowns. To dress in Verdant style was to declare oneself educated, forward-thinking, and aligned with the new power structure. The irony, of course, was that true power now came not from domination but from integration. Castle Moon became the epicenter of this new aesthetic movement. Nobles traveled from distant kingdoms to study Verdant architecture and philosophy. What had begun as a practical architectural choice became the ultimate marker of enlightened sophistication. Part 5. The philosophy of coexistence. Beyond aesthetics and practicality, verdancy represented a genuine philosophical shift. Medieval castles embodied a worldview where nature was raw material to be shaped by humanity. Verdant castles embodied something far more nuanced. An acknowledgement that humans are part of natural systems, not masters of them. This manifested in surprising ways. Castle Moon's library housed texts on botany alongside philosophy. The castle's council chamber featured a living wall, actual ferns, and creeping ivy, which served as a visual reminder that even human deliberation took place within larger ecological contexts. The decisions were made not in abstract isolation, but in consciousness of the living world. Some historians argue this philosophy fundamentally altered the trajectory of the era. Verdant castles engaged in fewer destructive conflicts. Their lords and ladies proved more willing to negotiate, compromise, and find sustainable solutions. Habits formed by living daily with the visible consequences of ecological decision-making. Part 6. The resistance and adaptation. Not all received verdancy with enthusiasm. Conservative powers viewed it as weakness, a betrayal of the fortress principle. Military commanders questioned whether moss-covered walls were truly defensible. Theologians debated whether prioritizing nature suggested pagan sympathies. The Verdant movement faced fierce opposition from every entrenched power structure. Yet Castle Moon and its allied estates persisted. When traditional castles fell to siege, Verdant castles stood firm, their ecological integration providing advantages that rigid structures could not match. When plagues swept through cities with stone fortifications, Verdant castles' botanical knowledge and fresher air proved life-saving. When peace finally came, Verdant aesthetics signaled a castle's strength, wisdom, and forward vision. Gradually, even the skeptics began adapting. Within 2 generations, nearly every castle worth note bore at least some mark of Verdant influence. The movement had fundamentally transformed how humanity conceived of fortification and civilization itself. Part 7. The aesthetic legacy. The visual language of verdancy has endured far beyond its practical necessity. Deep forest greens, moss textures, fern motifs, and the interplay of stone with living growth remain the aesthetic vocabulary of sophistication. To this day, the most prestigious spaces, chambers of power, libraries of knowledge, gardens of contemplation, draw upon verdant principles. The reason is obvious in retrospect. Verdancy expresses something profound about human aspiration. It says, we can be strong without destroying. We can build without diminishing. We can create civilization that flourishes alongside nature rather than despite it. Every verdant castle, every moss-draped tower, every fern-filled corridor stands as a visual argument for this possibility. Castle Moon remains the urtext of this aesthetic, the place where verdancy was not merely adopted but invented. Its influence radiates through centuries of design, philosophy, and human aspiration toward balance. Part 8. Living within verdancy. To walk through a verdant castle was to experience architecture as an ongoing conversation with nature. Each season brought transformation. Spring's unfurling ferns, summer's dense canopies, autumn's color shifts, winter's skeletal architecture revealing stone beneath. Life within such spaces was not separate from natural cycles, but intimately woven into them. This had psychological implications. Inhabitants of verdant castles reported deeper peace, greater creativity, and increased emotional resilience. Some attributed this to the air quality. Others pointed to the meditative aspects of tending living walls. Perhaps it was simply that living daily within a system of coexistence reminded people of their own place within larger wholes. Contemporary accounts describe verdant castles as places of unexpected contemplation, spaces where one could be fortress and sanctuary simultaneously, warrior and gardener, builder and caretaker of life. Part 9. The Verdant Future. Centuries have passed since verdancy transformed Castle Moon. The movement spread, adapted, and ultimately became so integrated into architecture and design that its revolutionary roots are often forgotten. Yet the questions it raised remain urgent. How do we build? What do we value in our constructed spaces? Can civilization and nature coexist not as compromise, but as genuine partnership? The Verdant vision suggests they can. Fortifications need not be sterile. Power structures need not dominate. Civilization can flourish not by denying nature, but by embracing it as partner rather than resource. Every moss-covered stone, every fern-draped archway, every integrated garden stands as testament to this possibility. Castle Moon remains, as it has always been, the living proof. Its verdant towers still reach toward the sky. Its moss-carpeted courtyards still host contemplation. Its ancient ferns still remind us that true strength comes not from rigidity, but from the graceful, patient, persistent power of life itself. Where the wild things root, civilization flourishes, not to spite nature, but because of it.
obviously sinners. How are you feeling about this? No nerves, safe to say?
I'm just excited. Like, I feel like we've been preparing for this moment, this whole, award season, and we finally here. I feel really humbled and just kind of just trying to take it all in right now. But super excited for the performance, and I'm just blessed. I can't believe it's happening.
Like on the day off when she finally gets to chill?
Oh my goodness, just like chocolate crisps or chips as you guys call it.
Yep.
And usually a good film or a good TV show.
Essentially, because not everyone respects the same, equal rights for all, it becomes a necessity to defend, protect, and fight for freedom to ensure it is not taken away. Reclaiming value. Reclaiming freedom often requires re-educating society and destroying set, restrictive standards, power and control. Freedom must be claimed and defended against systems and individuals who seek to impose constraints, requiring people to fight for the ability to live according to their own values. Competing interests. True freedom cannot be absolute. It is regulated by the consequences of actions and the need to balance individual freedoms against the rights of others. Constant maintenance. Freedom requires continuous vigilance to protect it, similar to maintaining a car or defending it from being lost. Freedom often requires a fight because it is not a static gift, but a constantly contested state threatened by competing interests, power imbalances, and the need for regulation. It must be actively maintained and defended against encroachment, as it is never more than one generation away from extinction. In short, modern militaries are huge organizations where the tip of the spear, direct fighters, is small. Most people contribute through support that enables the few who do face live action. Even non-combat roles can face danger in asymmetric wars, e.g., base attacks. Combat definitions vary. Some count exposure to indirect fire/IEDs as combat. Others require direct engagement. Historical trends show the tooth-to-tail ratio has declined since World War II, when combat troops were 30–40% in some theaters, due to advanced technology, complex supply chains, and the need for massive rear area support. In recent U.S. operations, support/logistics, TAIL, often outnumbers frontline fighters, too, by ratios of 3:1 to 8:1 or more, depending on the theater. This leads to the common breakdown. About 1 in 10 soldiers/military members overall actually fires their weapon at the enemy or faces live-action war in a typical modern conflict. Of those who do deploy, only 10 to 20% end up in situations involving direct combat. The rest provide support in safer areas like bases or rear echelons. Around 40% of personnel never deploy to a combat zone at all. Only about 10% of the total military force is typically in dedicated combat roles. During active conflicts, e.g., post 9/11 wars in Iraq/Afghanistan, or historical ones like Vietnam, roughly 10 to 15% of all who serve in the armed forces ever see direct combat or experience live fire/hostile action over their career. In peacetime or low-intensity periods, very few, often near 0% overall, experience actual combat, as deployments are limited. The vast majority serve in support, logistics, headquarters, maintenance, intelligence, medical, or other non-combat roles. The number of people in the military who actually experience live-action war, direct combat, such as engaging the enemy, coming under fire, firing weapons in battle, or close exposure to hostilities, is relatively small compared to the total force.
Roses turn up noses, dry petal drops of color in morning, tenderness, sheer rhythm and penance. Vampires guess, who knows the guess, living dead, living dead, living dead. Titan striders, King Midas, return, gold blue. In a royal room, witch broom, potion spoon, metamorphosis moon.
Para Titan, menguji kitaraja midas kembali bunga. Emas diruam kerajan sapu penyihir sendok ramuan. Metamorphosis bulan.
Horses aware, nightmare, all is fair in darker layers. Land of peace, wisdom is bleak, not for the weak. Toxic roses turn up noses, dry petal drops of color in morning. Tenderness, sheer rhythm and penance. Vampires guess, who knows the guess, living
The French Musketeers, Musketeers du Roi or Musketeers of the Guard, and other royal guard units of the Maison du Roi, the king's household, in the 17th and 18th centuries were indeed elite. Prestigious forces with distinctive and often flamboyant attire that emphasized loyalty to the monarch and Catholic symbolism. While Alexander Dumas' novels and their adaptations romanticized them with sweeping capes, plumed hats, and dramatic flair, the real historical uniforms were more structured, practical for mounted service, and evolved over time. Yet they retain that iconic, richly decorated look. King's Musketeers, Musketeers du Roi. These were two elite companies in the Maison du Roi. The Grey Musketeers, first company on gray horses, and Black Musketeers, second company on black horses. Formed in 1622 under Louis XIII, they served as both mounted guards and shock troops. Early period 1620s, 1670s, under Louis XIII and early Louis XIV, no full standardized uniform existed until around 1673. Identification came from the cassock, cassock, or tabard-like overgarment, a loose, mid-thigh or shorter, sleeve garment worn over regular clothing. Color, royal blue, often described as sky blue, duck blue, or deep blue, lined in red. Key feature, a large embroidered white or silver cross on front, back, and sleeves, sometimes with golden fleur-de-lis at the cross ends and flames/sunbursts in the angles, symbolizing Catholic allegiance during the Huguenot Wars. This cross/tabard marked them as belonging to the king and distinguished them in battle. Other elements, wide-brimmed hats often feathered, sashes, boots, swords, and muskets/carbines. Capes or cloaks appear in some depictions, but weren't a constant uniform item. Later 17th century, from 1673, 1688 onward, Louis XIV formalized uniforms. The cassock evolved into a shorter sober vest, sleeveless jerkin/tabard, more practical for riding/fighting. Still blue with the famous white/silver cross, elaborated with gold/silver embroidery, fleurs-de-lis, and flames. Coats, blue or scarlet lined, with gold/silver fringing, buttons, and buttonholes. Breeches/stockings, red, or later variations like yellow for some companies. Hats, tricorn or wide-brimmed, edged in gold/silver with white plumes/feathers. Accessories, epaulets, belts, spurred boots, gloves. The look remained flamboyant with rich metallic embroidery, reflecting elite status. The Musketeers were disbanded in 1776 for cost reasons, but briefly revived in 1814 to 1815 with updated, but still ornate uniforms. Other royal guards, Maison du Roi units. The Maison du Roi included several prestigious guard corps beyond the Musketeers, such as Gardes du Corps du Roi, bodyguard cavalry often in richly trimmed blue coats, red facings, gold embroidery, white breeches, and plumed helmets/hats. Gardes Françaises, French guards, elite infantry, dark king's blue coats with red collars/cuffs/waistcoats, white/silver braid embroidery, heavier for officers. Red, later white, breeches, white gaiters, tricorn hats, grenadiers, and fur caps. Ornate compared to line infantry. Gendarmes, chevaulegers, and other household cavalry. Similar vibrant schemes, blue/red bases with gold/silver lace, sashes, feathers, and crosses. These units shared themes of rich colors, blue dominant for royal ties, red accents, gold/silver metallic work, crosses, white/silver for Catholic/French identity, feathers/plumes in hats, sashes, and capes/cloaks for ceremonial duties. In the 18th century, uniforms trended toward more standardized coats, waistcoats, breeches, and tricorns, but retain lavish trim for household troops. The Dumas-inspired image, capes flowing, huge feathers, dramatic crosses, amplifies the real thing for drama, but the historical versions were genuinely eye-catching. Bold blue tabards/cassocks with shining crosses, metallic embroidery, and feather hats made them look flamboyant and unmistakable as the king's men. They embodied both martial prowess and courtly spectacle under Louis XIII and Louis XIV.
Lemongrass, trash, sage, mouthwash, moonlight, twine, glad inside. See through outside. Sailors and traders. The sockets shining on. Harry Winston bling, got the sleigh bells ringing. Wrapping paper trees, bows, ribbons, and tinsel. Diamonds wrapped in gold, got the vibes with no tinsel strands, flowers twist with straws. Gold sparkles bright, dropping jaws. The twilight more dropping jaws. Dropping jaws. Black roses moving through the moon jaws.
Thank you.
A body was found early this morning.
What's the worst thing you've ever done?
We didn't know everything there was to know about her.
Too sexy for me. Too sexy for me. You too sexy for me. Too sexy, sexy, sexy. mind, cause you're too sexy for me. Too sexy for me.